So by some twist of fate, our weather decided that the next 7 days are all going to have highs in the 70s, and this doesn't really happen in August very often. So I get to start my fall program stuff here going on in the yard a little bit earlier this year, which is awesome. So let's get started today and show you a little bit of process as we get going here on some stuff in the backyard. So I sincerely hope this is going to show on camera here, but you see a line. Basically, I'm going to walk this line right here. So this side is the non-dethatched side, this side is the dethatched side. So take one more look at it here. You'll see not dethatched on that side, dethatched on this side. So I did the side here about 2 weeks ago as a test to see kind of how it was going to recover and remove some of that dead stuff in there, some of the fungus stuff that happened from summer, get it some more airflow, and just kind of see how it's going to recover. And I've been very impressed with it. Now this is going to change the density of your lawn. So if you have a very thick bluegrass lawn like this, or a thick mix of cool season grass, this is going to thin it out. So if you have fescue or ryegrass or grasses that are more of a bunch grass that are not really going to spread themselves back out, then you could overseed this. Also, if it gets thin enough and you have some space in there that you can actually see down to the soil, you can overseed some better bluegrass cultivars into this as well, which I may try to do. We're going to see how opened up it gets here in a second. That's just going to give you the option here to kind of clean things up after summer, and that's what I'm going to do to kind of get my lawn around the 2-inch mark. Is my goal to be able to cut it well at 2 inches. Now you see here that this section is cut at 2 1/4, and what I'm still noticing is that it's really super thick and matty, and there's a bunch of kind of brown stuff still mixed in there. So that's why I did that test over there to see what it was going to do. And today we're going to do the rest of this to open that up as well and start cutting it clean, getting some airflow in there as things are cooling down. So now when we're talking about dethatching typically a yard, we're talking about actually having a buildup of this. Essentially, really what this brown stuff looks like here would be kind of built up like that at the base of the plant. And it wouldn't just be kind of dead grass mixed in here, but it would be a thick spongy layer down at the soil layer that's kind of embedded into the grass. And bluegrass has a tendency to kind of build up that thatchy layer, but if you've never dethatched your yard, you can go out into it and just go look at a section, see if you find a spongy layer there of kind of dead material at the bottom. If you have more than a 1/2 inch of it, it's probably a good time in the fall for cool season grass to come in and remove some of that and let it kind of regenerate itself. Now the tool that I recommend for most homeowners is the Greenworks machine. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I bought that machine 3 or 4 years ago or something like that, and I've used it quite a few times in renovations, and it's worked well for me. So today I want to try out the Swardman machine with the cartridge in there and see how that's going to work out. I've talked about this scarifier kind of dethatching tool before, but it can kind of be set different ways so that you can either use it to just comb through your grass and pick up stuff, or you can set it a little lower to try to remove some of your thatch, or do like a process today where we're trying to remove a little bit of dead stuff in there, old stuff that's just stuck down in the grass. Wow, pretty incredible stuff here. Cleaned out all of that junk. Pretty much, if we look underneath here, much thinner, but yet still a lot of green grass in there. It looks really good, nice and cleaned out. And I'll probably go over it one more time in the opposite direction as well. Just look down in here. So because there's so much stuff coming out debris wise, I think I'll actually keep the catcher off for right now and come back and probably mow over it one more time a little bit lower, because as we've thinned things out a little bit, we're seeing some areas that weren't getting cut very well before. So I'd like to come in and get a clean cut on it as well at the end. Alright, here is one pass done with the machine, and to be honest with you, I cannot believe how much crap came out of there. I knew that there was a lot of brown down into the yard, but I didn't think it was going to be piles and piles and piles of it like I'm seeing right now. So I'm gonna pick this up with the rotary mower, clean it up a little bit, and we'll probably go one more time in the other direction, see how it looks. Then we will make a decision if I want to overseed something or just kind of leave it where it is, let it recover, give it some water, and probably some fertilizer really soon as well. So the Swardman machine worked great. We've got it pretty thinned out now. I didn't use the grass catcher on there because I was filling it up even about halfway into a pass, and I would have had to continually dump it and dump it. So I figured I would just try the rotary. I needed to go over it with a rotary anyway to help lift up whatever grass was kind of pulled up there. Now I'm gonna go over it one more time with the cartridge again, see what stuff we can pull out one more time, and then cut it around 2 inches with the Time Master and take a look at it as far as overseeding goes. Got the Electra all dirty today. So here it is, all done mowing, all done cleaning out all that junk, and surprisingly, it does not even really look scalped. It kind of looks like there was a bunch of grass living under there that wanted to see the light of day, and now it's actually doing that. So much, much thinner. I'll show you what it looks like. So here's a good example of, still has a lot of thickness and green overall, and then you'll have some of these spots like this, which was a spot that was likely laying over on top of itself, getting fungus and other things that thinned it out. And then when I came in, the dethatcher pretty much removed all that dead stuff, and this is what we're left with. Now typically bluegrass doesn't need to be overseeded because all of this right here will creep into this and it will all become one little nice thing here in probably a couple months time or so if we're feeding it heavy in the fall. So you don't really have to do that with bluegrass, but if you wanted to get some new varieties into your existing bluegrass yard, that's really kind of the best way to do it, or the only way to do it that I know of, is thinning it out like this, because putting it into an already thick yard, it just never has a chance to get established before the rest of the grass overtakes it. I also got this thing out to test one little section here to see if it looked any different than the Swardman or not. Pretty much I had already cleaned out everything and I didn't really find that it was pulling out too much more stuff here. There was a little bit extra up in this corner. I didn't really hit it with the other machine too much in there. If you have either of those tools at your disposal, that will work perfectly fine. Yep, that should work. So if you're gonna let your lawn get taller again, I would probably just keep watering that at least a couple times a day. It's gonna be easier to hold moisture when we have that existing grass there, but you're going to notice as well that your existing grass is gonna start to shoot up pretty quickly. So what I found in the past is probably about 10 to 14 days is about as long as you can possibly let it go before it needs to be mowed again. So if you're gonna let your yard get tall again, then I would try to do that. And I probably wouldn't put down the starter fertilizer right away either, because that's gonna give the existing grass even more of a chance to kind of jump up in growth and everything. For me, I'm going to try to keep this lower, like I said, around 2 inches, so I have to keep up with that. I'm probably going to either use my manual reel mower on it, which is very light and doesn't do too much damage, or just going to use my Honda mower probably. I'm not too worried about if the new seed doesn't completely come in or I damage a little bit of it, it's okay. The rest of the bluegrass will fill in. And I'll have a lawn here again that's thick on its own, so I don't have to worry too much about that. That was quite a workout today. My watch says I got 20,500 steps in so far. So thanks so much for watching this video. We'll see you next time.